Hypothetical Biden and Trump both die of natural causes before the election. What happens? State installs Hillary as president. She issues an executive order on day one that all pizza deliveries must be packaged in Wayfair closet units which contain a trafficked child along with your pizza. Day two brings the military forcing everyone to get the new COVID vaccine, which turns everyone trans and gay. Day three, the death squads patrol the streets and assassinate anyone wearing a MAGA hat. Sadly, I feel like I must put the S at the end of this because there are some people who are so fucking stupid and gullible that they might repost it without getting the joke. Kamala Harris completes the term she was elected for, expiring on January 20th, 2025. If either candidate dies before the party convention, the convention delegates will choose a new party candidate. If it is after the convention, the electors pledged to the candidate on the ballot will meet in their state capitals. They may vote for anyone they choose. Electoral college results will be tallied at a joint session of the new Congress. If there is a majority, the election is certified. If it is not, the House elects a new president, with each state delegation having one vote. Probably Trump's cult simultaneously say one. He's still alive and gone to ground to plan the great takedown that Q has been promising for 8 years, and two, that Democrats in the CIA have assassinated him with a heart attack gun because he was undeniably going to romp it in, or start waving the bloody shirt. On the Democratic side, Kamala Harris becomes president and business continues as usual. She runs on a campaign on carrying on Biden's legacy. Depends on when this happens. It probably would be that factor a couple more months of her going after Trump and him throwing shit all over her. I think that would cause a schism in the GOP that may let Harris eke out a victory. If it was Harris v. Haley today, I'd bet on Haley. If it was Harris v. Haley after, say, August, 50-50. I'm not putting money on either. Without frontrunners, both Democrats and Republicans scrambled to find someone. Kamala versus Nikki is a possibility, but Kamala would more than likely win in this chaos. Keep in mind that in a Republican primary, Nikki literally lost to none of these candidates in a state. It took the phrase "nobody can beat us" to a whole new meaning, because nobody really did beat her. Everyone will celebrate until both parties replace idiots with someone just as bad. Life goes on just like it was when they were around. Watch me get downvoted because I called them both idiots, and blasted because obviously is worse than. Those people are the real problem and why we are in the situation we are in. There would be a worldwide investigation with Secret Service detectives near Mello. When Trump and Biden both die due to natural causes such as a heart attack, Near and Mello notice a pattern. Mysterious deaths, a rise in heart attacks. Criminals were all dying of the same cause. Who is the mastermind behind all this? The Constitution does not address this kind of situation, but I will take a stab at it. If the deaths occur before the ballot print date cutoff, then the party can name somebody else to be the nominee. After that moment, things get weird political, and maybe a real constitutional crisis. The Republicans go weekend at Bernie's and run his dead corpse because death is just a MSM media scheme. The Ds find a competent yet boring replacement because God forbid they take any risks. And the media and large portions of the public pretends it's just two sides of the same coin. Kamala Harris becomes POTUS until the election is held. The front-runner for the Republican Party, Harris may take a run for re-election, but she'd have to contend with more popular candidates. Gavin Newsom, if I had to guess. He's pretty popular right now. The country lets out a collective sigh of relief that shakes the entire world so strongly that the countries of the world come together and sign a global peace pact making everyone's lives better. Either that or we resume the shit show with a different set of morons in charge. We all celebrate. Kamala Harris becomes president for a bit, during which we're subjected to super profound speeches, where we're lectured like kindergarteners about the significance of the passage of time. They set up a new primary election process. We vote. Life is good. Well, first off, the FBI would most likely pay a quick visit to Japan to track down the perpetrator of both these deaths. I'm not familiar with American laws, but I'm guessing they would find the killing of two presidential candidates via death note be illegal. Depends on how far before the election. For a legal answer, look here. EDU articles. What happens if a presidential candidate cannot take office due to death or incapacitation before January 2025? RNC would both probably advance the runner-up from the primaries, or the DNC might default to Harris, since she would become president, and we'd have a normal election, but with way better candidates. I would not want to wish death on anyone. But to answer your question, what happens nationally to new candidates who are hopefully under the age of 70? What happens? Personally, I would be relieved. Kamala Harris becomes president and she picks someone to become her VP. Republican Party and Democratic Party will have to do another primary to figure out who their candidates would be. The world rejoices. No matter who is president, the evil that is Trump is gone forever, and his supporters will likely commit suicide because they can't bear to be without him. Win-win. Kamala will be elevated to president since she is the current VP. She would also be the Democratic candidate for president for the November 2024 election. Gavin Newsom would be her VP. You'll have a mad dash of every power-hungry politician running, but Democrats will still win because enough idiots will write in Trump on the ballot, causing them to lose votes. There is much celebration as this particular session or senior dick jousting closes, making way for marginally less senior dick jousting tournament that commence. The next corrupt folks step up and do the same thing as each other, but one wears blue and the other red. There's no real difference in the end result. Firm and supreme, naturally. For a serious answer though, Kamala Harris is VP, so she'd be taking over until the situation gets figured out. It would likely be Nikki Haley versus Kamala Harris. People won't want to hear this, but Nikki would smoke Harris, probably a historic landslide. It doesn't seem like either party has anyone younger better waiting in the wings. I'm curious as to how Reddit thinks it would play out. Since Biden is currently president, VP Kamala Harris would take over until the election is sorted out and a new president is elected. Well, at least a gerontocracy takes a breather. Seriously, stop electing people in their 70s and 80s. There's no reason to. Harris would become president, but there's no such thing as calling for an immediate re-election. I'm not sure what that means. They'd get replaced by the same people, but with different names. Probably different haircuts as well. But basically nothing. Perhaps we could just not have a president when Biden's term is up. I think that could be better actually. Nikki Haley beats whoever the Democrats field, but the GOP suffers a rout in the damn ballot elections. An endless profusion of conspiracy theories, among other, possibly, even less desirable consequences. Simple. We all go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. If Biden and Trump both die before the election, their parties will have to choose new candidates. Russian-led disinformation campaigns spreading lies about conspiracies and secret assassinations. VP gets sworn in, and honestly I'd be afraid there would be lots of internal strife in the US. The two major party supporters have to figure out a way to blame third-party voters for it. Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer step up to the plate and form the Democratic ticket. Kamala Harris is the interim president till elections, which will be Nikki Haley versus IDK. Both sides point fingers at each other, accusing the other of murdering their candidate. Kamala Harris takes over the presidency. Nobody really cares what happens with Trump. The flags fly at half-mast while my neighborhood sets off fireworks in celebration. We rejoice and the country unites. Then we get another 70-year-old in office. A lot of Republican terrorism due to a conspiracy that Trump was assassinated. Crossing my fingers it happens. No offense. I think everyone will celebrate. The public outside of the US would think much more positively of the US. How I long for the cold, logical, unfeeling rule of artificial intelligence. If they both die before the election, the people will be better off for it. People are butthurt. The cycle of Coke versus Pepsi continues with new mascots. Kamala the Vice the wrestler folks, becomes president. Even if it were just Trump, I'd be celebrating like it was the 4th of July. Hopefully we'd get a good president, but would still probably get fucked. Kamala and Nikki make it to the finals and India is well represented. I, for one, would reconsider my status as an atheist and thank God. America rejoices. New national holiday that unites the left-right. And there was much rejoicing in the land. Monty Python cheers. There will be rejoicing throughout the land. Then a bit of panic. Newsom runs and skunks Haley, any other Republican candidate. Remember the scene in Ace Venture when he leaves the monastery? I fucking celebrate and then cry because I remember who VP is. What buddy, what a way to get on the Secret Service call list. We go from the darkest timeline to the weirdest timeline. I would decide if I'm voting for Harris or against Trump Jr. What do you mean natural cousins to men in their prime? Everybody in the world takes a collective sigh of relief. Sutton Slitlewist gets a visit from the Secret Service. Both sides celebrate, and we take another crack at this. Wouldn't be the worst thing for the US and the world. America gets the mulligan that it so desperately needs. While the conspiracy theorists would have a field day. Kamala Harris becomes president and everyone's fucked. Maybe we'd get someone I actually want to vote for.